flexible in terms of where the rest of your draft goes with.
Playmaking, global map pressure. That is the name of the game from Ultra Prime now going forward. But JBetto continues to stay on a roll with this draft analysis. The Yunara lock-in very likely means the Lulu will follow not far behind. So, Jue, a playmaking support, I'm kind of sad to see him do double enchanter duty, but I do think there is some sneaky playmaking with how you can use this polymorph.
Maybe Nautilus lane here from Ultra Prime. Just the rise that we were talking about a bit before. I could see EDG go with the Xin Zhao like we were talking about before. Pairs well with the Lulu.
Okay.
But my concern is that I don't know how great it is into... Stop. I know how great it is into the Yorick. The Yorick blind, though, is a bit crazy. We were talking before we went live about Aurelia coming back into the game, maybe next patch. There's a Xin Zhao. That would be really nice. Could we see an Aurelia now with the Lulu? Is that is tech?
Well, only one way to find out is to see if it gets locked in, which I unfortunately don't think we'll be getting any help with there tonight, JBetto. I do like the Yorick blind, knowing that you're going to give away Xin Zhao. You're like, all right, there's no world where Xiaohao doesn't want this on the B3. So now we can go into the second ban phase and just start picking apart ZDZ counters that we feel like Sasa is not comfortable into.
I was honestly genuinely scared that Sasa was going to pick Xin Zhao top to take it away. He didn't do that.
Well,
he picked the Yorick.
That might happen next patch, JBetto. I'm hearing word that AP Xin Zhao is the craziest thing to come out of the changes.
Good ban focus on the bot lane for EDG, targeting away the Korki-Nami / Jin Nami, although I don't think Jin's that good. I think Aphelios is an option with the Thresh. I think that Hook Champion's probably the best into this, Yunara Lulu. You could go Aphelios Nautilus. That's been a thing in the past. Nautilus will be banned away. But for the top lane counters like you were talking about, Renekton's out. Maybe Jax is not terrible. Or the Shogath. I know that in the past there's been Shogath into the Yorick. But instead, just a mid lane ban. We'll keep the top lane open.
I will say, this is where I do want to make the point that when it comes to, Group Nirvana teams, I'm yet to see a lot of them play the sort of side lane, never 5v5 strategy very well. A lot of teams have struggled to make Yorick comps work. I like the look of a Pantheon Global Threat Ultimate, a Realm Warp Threat Ultimate, and the Yorick side laning, but it's a nice idea. In execution, I haven't seen teams of Ultra Prime's caliber really do well with it. And now that you have the ZDZ slamming the Scion, this is a full front-to-back 5v5 teamfight comp for EDG that will be absolutely disgusting. Ezreal and Anivia, though, is going to make it pretty hard, I feel, for EDG to kind of work their way through a lot of these fights.
All right. I definitely wasn't expecting that. I was expecting something like maybe a Leona, just go the engage support, but I guess in Split 2 of 2026, just pick a ranged champion. It's just better. You want the wall, you want the stun. Malzahar. I mean,
this is Angel Special.
I have to say, I think I was pretty on top of the draft in the first couple of picks, and then I did not expect.
I caster cursed you, JBetto.
Yeah, my predictions. All right, let me think about the Malzahar for a bit. It's not bad into Ezreal. You can catch him. It's not bad into Ryze because of the low range. It's not terrible against the Pantheon. I guess he goes in and you kind of take him out. But is this champion in a place where we're happy with the amount of damage? I feel like it's another game for EDG where Leave is the main character. Last game, he looked really good on the Lucian, but against an Anivia, it can be quite hard to get a massive lead, to get that snowball rolling. And Ultra Prime have so much side lane.
They do. They have not just side laning, they have pick threats, and they also have a lot of champions that can spread the fight out, right? Like Ezreal goes one way, you got a Ryze that can realm up on the other side, Pantheon Grand Starfall. I like all that, JBetto, but in execution, I still have worries because for EDG, the ease of execution is very simple. They are front to backing, and they are burning whoever is standing in front of them, and they are standing in front of this Yunara. So we'll see if the ease of execution will prevail here for Edward Gaming, or if we're going to get funky with some side lane tech from Ultra Prime. They're going to need it if they want to force this series the distance, if they want to try and contend for a playoff spot currently in Group Nirvana as we head back to the Rift.
Please.
Ultra Prime.
Ultra Prime.
Jayo.
Jayo.
Gotta get him in.
All right. Ultra Prime's got an interesting draft. And I say, Slayer, here we are now. Entertain us, Ultra Prime. Because that last game was not the most engaging from an Ultra Prime perspective. They had a little bit of agency in some of their ganks, but didn't end up mattering a whole lot. As EDG on the back of Xiaohao played a really, really good game through the jungle, setting the speed. But I think that, I mean, like you were saying before, this is a pretty hard comp to make work really like comfortably. But it can really pop off. Like, double global is pretty hard to play against.
It has its strengths. It's going to really force EDG to play disciplined, especially going into this mid-game where you still don't have a lot of power out of your Nara. Sion isn't necessarily a huge tank threat at this point. And Malzahar is definitely a champion that needs a bit more scaling time. So EDG are going to have to stay disciplined, but again, the ease execution is just such a big focal point here for me once we get into those late stages of the game. What has changed about the early game, though, is a little bit of a Freaky Friday scenario from Climber. He has been granted information gains. You saw Xiaohao start on his blue, and he's now going to try and catch him on his Raptors.
Yep.
Xiaohao knows this is happening, though the ward expired, but here's Climber. See if he can smite away the big camp, and he will, and he immediately looks to engage onto Xiaohao. Aegis Assault gets thrown up to try and block any return damage, but
nice.
Climber dishing out that same bitter medicine that Xiaohao was doing in game 1, and he's going to steal away even more.
Yeah, really confident with the Q smite damage. Not able to secure that away from a Pantheon. It'll be 2 camps. Xiaohao will be able to get his Krogs, but this means that, you know, Raptors can be reinvaded later. A really good roam from Ultra Prime's bot lane as well to get the camp underway. The Doran Shield is still bugged though. Hope it's just visual.
It's very likely just visual. I guess we'll never know unless we highlight over.
It's like a teaser.
Itself, but
producer, get on that. Get on that, producer. Highlight the items for me, please.
so we can see if the stats have changed nonetheless. But yeah, just going to be that visual bug. Curious to see how Xiaohao wants to respond to the fact that he falls a couple camps behind, because I do think it is pretty detrimental, because kind of similar to the Nocturne conversation we had last game.
Yeah.
Pantheon really wants to get to that Grand Starfall as soon as possible and get that ult down to affect this map early and often. So him being a couple camps ahead of Xiaohao is going to make that difficult. But as we say that, I was curious that no, he didn't steal away the respawn Raptors just yet. He just a bit too early just to get that ward. So he sees Climber, but no payday to get Xiaohao back in the game.
Again, though, another really good ward from EDG, spotting Climber on his pathing. So top lane will need to be a little bit careful, but as a Scion, you should be pretty happy. Now, I feel like this top lane is... There's no stun in the wall.
Okay, barrier going to allow for a further step up from Hena, but that's a great polymorph coming out from Jue. So Leave doesn't take too much extra damage. A lot of waves getting crashed into this turret, testing Leave's ability to farm under them. But so far, he's answered the call. He's only going to go down 3 creeps.
It's a much better start from Ultra Prime. Having some agency in this lane, especially, like, a lot of the time you think about, like, oh, the ADC, watch out. Oh, but Hena took a trade. No, it's actually XiaoXia who's going to be doing majority of the damage in these early few levels with the Electrocute. If he lands another combo onto Leave, procs Electrocute, a lot of that health bar is going to go away. But, yeah, I feel like this is another top lane game where the lane doesn't matter at all. I mean, having a big lead on Gnar can really matter, but this is a side laning Yorick against a Scion who's just going to live. A lot of the game is going to be dependent on can this Malzahar get off the ground? How does Ultra Prime use their globals? They've got a pretty decent target in the bot lane for their globals. But I mean, if it doesn't get off, later on in the game, you are significantly outvalued by the ult of EDG.
Yep. It's that team fight that's going to be such a threat. But as we continue to pan towards the bot side, we do see Climber start up this dragon, which should go uncontested. Xiaohao is just now leaving the EDG base. We do see that Hena is starting to stack a bit of a higher CS lead, going up about a wave. And this reminds me of a fact that, Hena has not been one of the better farming AD carries in Nirvana so far. He has not embodied the Nirvana creep.
No.
He's embodied the negative creep. And it's also the same for Sasa on the other side.
Oh
my god, first Nether Grasp. Going down here onto Saber. Polymorph comes down on top of that as well. But Angel, this early into the game, doesn't have kill threat unless the... Oh my god. The Airy puts him down to... I saw 17 HP, but Saber does in fact survive for now.
That was very scary. Hold on. Angel takes a tower shot. We'll be able to get out. But if Jue was level 6, that's an easy kill because of the wild growth, a little bit of extra damage. But Saber holds his flash. Very gutsy to do so under the stress that play might have put him under. But no ghost as of before, and no TP means that you'll be able to collect the wave, come back a little bit. But you've got to be careful because if these all-ins happen against Slayer, the Malzahar damage is only going to get worse.
Only going to get worse indeed. ZDZ's health bar is only going to get bigger. Makes these trades into the Maiden and the Ghouls a little bit easier to stomach. I want to give ZDZ some credit. He's done a pretty good job staying even in CS despite constantly being shoved under a turret. So XiaoXia is going to swing up topside, try and make this a bit more difficult. I wonder if they're actually going to try and threaten the dive here. Yep, they got Climber here as well. ZZ does not clear out enough of the wave. The main is here. I don't know what that unstoppable onslaught was, but he flashed down the dark procession. Egg form going to come out from XiaoXia. Climber gets aggro, though. Now he has to flash. ZZ's going to go after the Anivia, but XiaoXia luckily comes back into bird form and flaps his way back to safety. But that dive was far from clean.
Yeah, XiaoXia also had heal and flash. But again, it's Hena on the other side, getting zoned away, losing CS, maybe some tower plates too. But yeah, ZDZ, I didn't exactly see what he did, but I know he ulted into the wall. It might have been blocked, but it looked like it was going to hit the tower regardless, and then had to flash over the wall, I assume is what happened. But here comes a Pantheon ult.
Starfall. Going after Angel, he flashes immediately, but stun's still going to land. Saber going to get the Rune Prison, another grasp. Only can grab Saber, and Climber will finish off the kill. Angel dropped in the mid lane.
Yep, that's exactly what we want to see from this team comp. Level 6 hit, and I mean, Xiaohao last game on the Nocturne, it took him a while to get with this ult, but Climber on something that, again, we've seen him look good on. As soon as that level 6 is hit, he sees a timer within one level, ults into mid, which I wasn't expecting to be the target. I was sure Angel was safe. He was next to his turret, still had to use flash, but the CC chain from Pantheon Rise just too strong.
Just too strong. Rune Prism combo with the Grand Starfall stun. Coming across from Climber just like that. Xiaohao's going to get put on the wrong side of the wall. Have to flash away from an Anivia stun. Realm Warp comes through from Saber on the back end of that, but enough pressure has been wagered, and there's really nothing to play for on this bot side, so just an Enchanter down a flash is the win there for Ultra Prime. XiaoXia was eyeing potentially ganking on Angel, but that Spell Shield makes it a little bit harder to go after the Malzahar.
Yeah, you can play so aggressive with the Anivia. We saw, XiaoXia tank up the top turret with passive available, has the flash and heal still available as well, and also, I mean, the wall can be used to peel yourself, plus the stun, so a lot of aggression can come out of this bird, but so far just the one assist. Ultra Prime off to a pretty good start. I mean, 1k lead, one dragon, grubs are up, neither team really feels super persuaded to go and take that. I think that if anyone really wants the grubs, it's probably the Yorick. Sion can do really well, but against the Yorick, I don't think he's getting pushed that often. See some jungle pathing up towards the top lane Slayer. First item completed for Climber. The gold lead isn't that big. The fact that he's got this spike is actually a massive boon.
I think it's going to kind of embodied him with the confidence to go after these grubs. And you were talking about for the York, but I think this is a paramount play here for Ultra Prime. They needed to get at least 2 of these 3 grubs. They're going to get all 3 here. And now the threat of a Rise split pushing on top of the Yorick and the overload threat of this Pantheon. This is a really big win here for Ultra Prime.
Also, Roa completed it as well, which is not the strongest first item spike, but it still is an item over Angel. So 400 gold is not a ton. But the fact that these first items were completed on that objective, and 17 seconds, looks like everyone from EDG is basing for their first item now.
Oh, nice
But that
push.
means they'll just be late.
ZDZ is handedly winning this. He has a stop onslaught. He's just going to go after the Maiden, which is a good play here. That's big to kind of slow down Sus's push power on this top side. But as you called out, Dragon on the Rift. Dragon immediately started here by Climber with the help of Hena. Xiaohao's going to try and walk up here, but he's walking through a ton of Ultra Prime vision. He does spot the Dragon down about 1700 HP. It will be spied away, but Xiaohao, when it becomes lightning, is going to come up just short. Looking like he wanted to fight brute style out, but just too little too late, and Ultra Prime now have themselves a Chemtech Soul win con on the horizon.
Is that a good sentence, though, to say? Like has any team ever said, probably, like, yes, it's Chemtech Soul? I don't want to, like, I like all the souls. They're fun. But, like, I guess it's good for Lulu. It's not bad for Sion. But I feel like Ultra Prime got a bit unlucky. They could have got Infernal Soul. They could have gotten Cloud Soul. Still will be happy. Obviously, Soul is really important. But someone...
I think Chemtech has value on, you know, champion like Yorick. You know, champions that also want to dish out as much damage as they possibly can.
I can see it. I can see it. Not too bad on Zinza, I guess, Pantheon. But... See, Ultra Prime still up 2. Quests, however, pretty even. In fact, Leave about to finish his. Whoa!
Oh, good Crescent Guard. Primer's still going to flash. The Realm Warp comes out here from Saber. But he can't get another damage down. The Rune Prism does hold Xiaohao in place. He gets a good heal through the Sundered Sky. He dashes to his wolves, but his wolves betray him. Finishes off the kills. The Nethergrass comes through for Angel. Touch of the Void comes through as the Arc of Ruin from a flashing lead with a Blast Cone saves both members of the Ultra Prime mid-jungle duo. And it's Climber again at it for a 3rd kill. Leaf can get the slow on to Saber with the Arc of Ruin. Nope, nothing more. EDG again cannot find a trade kill.
I'm going to say, for my sanity and yours, that Leave was trying to flash auto bomb plant them back into his team and did not accidentally flash bomb plant the enemy team to safety. I'm going to say that it was an intentional play that just barely miscalculated and they were on the wrong side of the bomb plant and it was close, maybe. I'd love to see that play again because I have no idea how Climber knew that his ult was going to find a target there, but nearly a massive overstep from Ultra Prime.
It's just such a fun switch up because this is what Climber was subjected to all of last game, just getting caught in his jungle, forced off his camps, and he is now sufficiently matched that exact sort of style on to Xiaohao in this game too. But it's still only a 500 gold lead. The dragon stacking is still very prevalent. But, you know, for as much as we talked about the power of EDG's ultimates later in the game, the power they're fighting later in the game, JBetto, when do you get comfortable with where Ultra Prime's lead's at? Because I feel like it's not, you're not comfortable where we're at right now.
Honestly, I don't know if there is like a genuine number in which, other than it being, you know, like 8,000 plus gold, you know, closer to 10k, where you're just raw statting everybody. I feel like a lot of this comp is about execution. Where are these ults going? Is Ezreal hitting all of his abilities? How is the Anivia looking in fights? Like, we see comps all the time where it's like, okay, I hit an item spike and the game is just so done because I'm playing, like, a Lucian, right? And I just do more damage than you, but a lot of Ultra Prime's comp is skill dependent.
Ooh. Leave, though. Showing off some skill of his own right there. Good dodge on the one stun. And reminding Hena and XiaoXia that at some point, this Yunara will be able to kind of 3-tap them whenever they want. True Shot Barrage not going to find its mark. Maybe use this a bit of a vision scouting tool. Maybe that's how Climber found that first pick with a Blast Cone from Angel. Oh, the Nethergrass is interrupted by the Dark Procession. And here comes the Grand Starfall turn back onto Angel. He gets a decent shield. Angel still has to come up. Wild Growth is up with the Ghouls. The Ghouls get the kill for Sasa. Climber going to be the next target. Tries to stun up onto Angel, but he will end up dropping as the Scion TP's in. Unstoppable Onslaught forces Sasa to flash out of a Decimating Smash. But here comes Leave. Doesn't have ult, but doesn't seem too afraid as it's actually ZDZ pulling a lead, flashing forward after Hena, throws up the barrier, waiting on the arcane shift that will not come. It's Leave that finds the kill. EDG chase down their first 2 kills of the game.
Yeah, and we were talking in draft about how important Leave is, not only in this comp, but in his team in general. And all the gold of his team is on his back. Nearly a 2,000 individual gold lead, Slayer. Leave needs to do some really big work to continue this game
I love this
in a positive fashion, but this is a pretty good start. I mean, yeah, bit of an awkward start to this fight. Climber ults in, numbers disadvantage for Ultra Prime. The TP is really nice as well as, yeah, that's unfortunate. Any support players, don't. The Yorick, little grubbies, little rats, you can't kill them.
Cannot kill them whatsoever. This feels like an opportune time to see a dragon start up in your picture-in-picture and see the rest of this fight play out. I was going to, lead into some of those Nirvana jokes, but EDG have no time. They want to fight because it's Leave. That once again, dishing out some serious damage onto Hena. TP coming across here. The Yorick is up in the fight. This is the 5v5 that EDG want with their Scion on the front line. How much of the burden can he really rely on? As Xiaohao is going to go right after Climber, force him completely out of the pin. The dragon is secured. Climber has to flash, and they've got the Rift Herald helmed by Leave. The EDG are going to look to double up on this positive play. They do crack the mid-tier 1 turret and stop the Chemtech Soul win con of Ultra Prime.
I mean, there's no Nocturne, there's no Paranoia. But just because you're not paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. EDG, really good target onto Climber, push him away with the Crescent Guard, target him out, force his flash, and then take the dragon, which will really, really hamper Ultra Prime's game state. I mean, the dragon stacking was, you were asking about like lead for Ultra Prime and when you feel like they're in a great spot. I think that Soul Point and onwards would have been a great...
Would have been a nice start.
Yeah, it would have been a good point to talk about it and a good starting point for Ultra Prime to talk about going into the late game because they've genuinely got a threat on the map. It is hard to, again, team fight like we've just seen, but now the dragon stacking's been denied. We're going to have a long time before Ultra Prime are even in the position to attempt a soul. I think that 2 items Ezreal, 3 items is really strong. I talk all the time about the Rise spike, Roa completed, Seraph's completed, level 16 actualizer. We're a while away from that, so I guess Ultra Prime not too unhappy to buy their time, but we were kind of talking about this in the draft, Slayer. They've got great side lane, they have these globals. We saw it a little bit at the start, a gank onto Angel in the mid lane, but the team fight is just not the same.
No, that's one of their weaknesses, and talk about buying time, aptly so for things like the Rise. I don't think time is necessarily on Ultra Prime's side. I think it's much more on Edward Gaming, because you talk about a Yunara that gets to 3 items, even 4 items, full crit with that, transcendence that provides that true damage. I think Malzahar scales similarly to Rise, too, so that's kind of even. And then Scion's tankiness really can outshine this threat that Yorick can bring later in the game. So I think scaling in time is on EDG's side, which makes this part of the game even more focal for Ultra Prime.
Yeah, I'm just going to slow down a little bit. No Baron. Potential. Even at spawn, I don't think that either team... the game's very close, so you have to find a really good macro timer. And the Dragons are, again, a while away. So I think that this is the point in the game where the globals get more value. Talk about being able to break open the game state when it becomes dry like this. That's why a lot of these global champions have been rising in priority. Because whereas normally you'd have to try to gank mid or maybe gank a side lane through the lane or through the jungle, which is oftentimes on vision, instead you can double ult onto this Yunara, onto this Malzahar, try to get some kind of lead through that, whether it's just a tempo lead or a genuine gold lead. But again, Ultra Prime, I don't know how linked up Saber and Climber have been this game.
It started out so well. They got that look on the Xiaohao with that combination, but you're right, Jack. It really has slowed down by this point, and maybe some of that is to EDG's credit. I've seen them stack up a lot more as 4, move as a unit, kind of daring Climber to run into this Crescent Guard, Xin Zhao, you know, Jue that can provide these shields, the Wild Growth turnarounds, of course, the Nethergrass, right? This Angel special. This is a champion that, and Malzahar, you're used to seeing in your solo queue games. It's rarely played on the professional level, and when it is, it's by Angel. And it's such a nice, successful pocket pick that he loves to turn to, specifically as a series closing champion.
And sometimes Showmaker, did he play that in ASI? I don't remember how they looked in that, but well, I remember it being a bit.
What?
Did they won? Well, I'll
probably
say.
know. To be honest.
I didn't watch it, but I know you guys casted it. I know there was the bug. Rip that guy, rip bug guy. Do we know his name? I'm sure someone knows his name.
You know, I'm gonna use Cope here and say
Guo.
it's way too early in the morning. Yeah, Guo.
Thank you.
Thank you, production.
You reckon Guo would have liked Nirvana, like the songs?
Oh no, you know it's Guo. I remember I kept calling him God Guo.
Oh,
no,
Guo.
Guo.
Okay, my mistake. Guo.
Shout out.
You reckon Guo would have liked Nirvana? I feel like every time I hear the song "Something in the Way," I just think of the Batman movie.
You mean
were
one
you a
of the
fan of
greatest
that?
movies ever made it?
Yes.
JBetto, be careful where you go here, because I will talk about the Batman for the rest of this cast and probably get fired for it, but I won't care.
Well, there's another one coming out.
I'm
excited.
There is.
I don't know if it's going to be Heath Ledger Joker status, but Ultra Prime might, if in this series, if they keep waiting, they might end up aligning with the release of the second Batman movie.
It's been a long time coming. And like you mentioned, this Chemtech Soul Dream for Ultra Prime feels like a long ways away, especially if they can't force Xiaohao off of it. It's going to be a Q-Smite play here for Climber, but he gets Nethergrass. He gets knocked out by the Dark Procession, but it doesn't matter. Xiaohao secures the next Chemtech Drake. He's Wild Growth sped up. He jumps in, does flash out just as Climber goes down. Realm Warp behind, but nobody from Ultra Prime is going to take it. It's the Root Prism on to leave, and they've cut down the AD carry. All of EDG's attack damage has been taken off the map, and now they only have ZDZ left to kind of throw as a last Hail Mary to get the rest of Edward Gaming out. Hena cuts him down to size. EDG get another dragon, but at what cost?
I mean, the fact that Xiaohao is able to secure the dragon against a Pantheon who this time they didn't force out is kind of crazy. I'm not too big a fan of talking about like really minute clicks all the time, but Leave, in the middle of that fight, did start hitting a ward, which allowed him to be caught out by Ultra Prime. So I want to see what this went down to, because they try to chunk out Climber, but he doesn't take any damage. Xiaohao still wins the smite fight, however. Looks like Climber didn't even use his Q and forced to flash away. There's a 1-for-1. TPs are coming in, but watch Leave on the way out. This ward gets put down, and he just starts autoing it!
What? I didn't even... That is crazy. Is that like an object permanence thing? I see something to click, I want to click? I don't know. Also, another thing that makes this fight even messier that I didn't realize until we saw the replay, Jue knocks Climber out of the Nethergrass by ulting Xiaohao, because it knocks him out of that Malzahar suppress. So that could have cost them the dragon, but it ends up not costing them. And it's very important to remember when talking about this new look EDG team alongside Xiaohao. We talked a little bit about it during the pre-show, but for Xiaohao, he's the man who kind of sold the world, aka his support, Parukia, to bring Jue on in. And it seems like the man who was most hurt by it was our very own Rafa, who I've been told is on record is not an EDG fan anymore because of this swap.
I have heard. Also, fun fact, this song is actually a David Bowie song, but Nirvana performed it live. I don't know if that was once. It's on the album, I think, or multiple times. But kind of interesting little fact there. Again, I did a little bit of research about Nirvana, but some of the song names, I have to say, like, oh man, gotta be careful. If you're a Nirvana fan, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a Nirvana fan, don't look at them up. Just trust me.
Definitely a band. Surrounded
Definitely
by
a band. Definitely a band.
A band with a lot of that they went through, and a lot of creative choices, and in a time where, you know, it was kind of the hip.
Influential.
Yeah, influential is a good way to put it. I will never forget some of the live Nirvana performances where they were asked to sing certain songs or to lip sync over their stuff, and they
said
quit
no.
the live show live. Just like Xiaohao wants to kind of try and quit whatever fight Ultra Prime are brewing. Luckily, Crescent Guard will allow him to exit stage right and get out of that fight, but that is a key team fight ultimate now off the board here for EDG as both teams start to kind of usher their way towards the Baron pit.
Yeah, an option for Ultra Prime. Damage is not super great on this objective, though. The turn is really superb. You know, with the Pantheon stun, the layering with Saber, and obviously the catch potential with this Anivia. Pretty even game. 2 Drakes apiece. Gold lead touching. But you say that, and I'm also thinking about, I think it was Rage Against the Machine who said, like, they weren't allowed to swear or something like that on their gig, and then they just said, yeah, we won't, and then they did it anyway.
Yep. Just like, oh my god, Angel says, no, I won't ult Climber, and he does. He gets trapped in the Dark Possession, though. Wild Growth is enough to get Angel out. Jway does save his mid laner, but it's to trade out his top laner. ZDZ getting drumped on by all of Ultra Prime's damage. EDG starting to look really wary in these fights, and now Ultra Prime feel confident enough to go after the Baron for 5 versus 4.
Yeah, well, maybe Angel shouldn't have ulted that because now Ultra Prime in a prime position to take this Baron. Remember, it doesn't go down too fast. Angel TP's back in.
Gets stunned up, gets deleted by Saber. Xiaohao's Crescent Guard was too little, too late. Leave oversteps his bounds again. And now Ultra Prime have really taken the lead of this game. 5 members with Baron on board for Ultra Prime.
And you can see how slow the Baron was, Slayer. We were still at like 3,000 to 4,000 HP after the fight was already done. But Ultra Prime, like we were talking about earlier, have a great turn. Leave too far forward, even with this Enchanter. He's still the only member of his team with a gold lead. That Rise has well and truly hit the spike. We were talking about maybe EDG, Ultra Prime running out of time, but EDG can be pretty careful against this Rise. I will say, that felt almost easy for Ultra Prime. They just walked into the Baron, turned. Xiaohao's ult was a bit, bit useless. But the main part is, you probably could have given the Baron, look at the HP bars, try to poke them out a little bit, and then chase Ultra Prime out of their jungle and kill them and surround them. They were so low. But instead, tried to flip the Baron, and now out of nowhere, Slayer, 4.5k gold lead.
It's because they didn't take a reset. They're just trying to knock down structures. They're taking so much gold in plating. Meanwhile, in the background, too, Climber secures Soul Point on the Chemtech Soul for Ultra Prime. There's the mid-tier 2 turret down. Sasa, the Ghouls, likely to try and strike on this bottom lane tier 2 turret. So all of a sudden, Ultra Prime are about to go up 5,000 gold. And in command of this game, too, where we were starting to get worried they'd get outscaled, this is a pretty good cushion and not have to worry about a future Yunara. And like you mentioned, the Malzahar that is much behind the curve compared to Saber's Rise.
Yeah, Rise very much online. Working on what I assume is the death cap. Could be the Zhonya's too. Don't want to get caught out, but already has that QSS for the Malzahar ult, so
yeah, that's great.
Should be fine.
Malzahar
what are your thoughts on when they removed the Malzahar? Sorry, the Mordekaiser ult cleanse. Should that have gone?
Yes. And I feel like I am the in position to give this opinion fairly because one, as you know, JBetto, I'm an AD carry player, so that cleanse was most beneficial to AD carry players. But I'm also a Mordekaiser player, and I recognize that Mordekaiser's ult is so unique in the fact that he is quite literally taking you to a different dimension. There shouldn't be a one-click button to get you out of that, in my opinion.
Not only is there a one-click button, but it's like is this like a belt or like a headband?
Sash, quick fire sash, Quicksilver sash.
Quicksilver sash. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't actually know what it is though. Like, what's a sash? Is it a belt?
I think it's like I'm not very fashion. I don't know if this is given off unless we're talking sports jerseys. I'm not too fashion centric, but I'm pretty sure you can put a sash on a couple of different places. I think it's multifunctional in its application.
Multifaceted. I like it. Well, it is God of Death versus Piece of Clothing. So maybe lore accurate wise, I don't know. But then it's like Void Alternate Dimension Death Laser. against Piece of Clothing 2, and that still cleanses it. I will say it would be pretty frustrating if it didn't. So I guess there's that, but when your mid lane is going QSS,
it's a little awkward. It's
yeah, it is a little
stunted.
awkward.
It does kind of stunt Saber's, gold lead, right? Obviously, the QSS provides the value of the Nethergrass, but outside of that, you're not getting a lot of value out of it. So for the price, Saber's gold lead is a little bit lower than it actually shows. I'm also being told, I guess I was mostly right about a sash. It's just technically a piece of fabric that can be used as a wrapping. So yeah, headband, put it over your shoulder. You can do anything with a sash, and Saber is, like we mentioned, likely going to use it to try and survive an all-in from Angel right now. He cuts down that bot tier 2 turret we were talking about to crest this gold lead over to near 6,000, and the game should slow back down JBetto as the Rabadons does come through, because Ultra Prime really just feel like they need to wait until, well, Baron and Chemtech Soul are both going to hit the map for them at the same time in under 2 minutes. Yeah,
pretty scary for EDG. I mean, there is an option if you've got macro control to force Ultra Prime to choose, or you can make it really awkward for them. The problem is EDG do not have any map control at all. The ward is the map is littered with Ultra Prime wards, and all the lanes are going in favor of Ultra Prime. The one silver line here is that Leave has 4 items completed up against Hena's only 3. And again, another situation where 700-ish, 800-ish gold up a full item. I'm assuming that Hena is going to base and finish the Shojin. But at least, even at the fight, Leave is in a great position to take over this fight. Doesn't have Pen, which is a little scary. There is a lot of armor being generated by just the boots, and obviously the base stats by Climber and Sasa. Rise can be pretty tanky. XiaoXia has the Frozen Heart as well. So having that full Pen would be nice.
So that's where I do want to kind of highlight the ingenious kit of Yunara. You're right, but I will say now that he has 4 crit items, Fiend Hunter bolts, your first 3 autos are supposed to guarantee crit. Unless you're 100% crit chance, then it's 3 true damage autos. So you do get a little bit of armor there knocked off as Xiaohao jumps onto Hena, burns the Crescent Guard, but Hena kind of just walks on out. Now he's got to flash over the ice wall. Another grass does go down on top of Sasa. He takes up easily. Unstoppable onslaught from CDZ on top of everybody. They're trying to put Leave in position to carry, but he gets pushed out by Saber, and Leave can't get back in, and that means CDZ is going to drop. Ultra Prime spacing these fights brilliantly, and now they've virtually locked themselves in to a Chemtech Soul.
At least you don't have to worry about, these team fighting Alt Slayer. When EDG just mess up their engage, I think EDG feels super stressed out about needing to take a fight before they're, around the dragons. I guess they don't have great vision contest, but they do have a Scion, so they should have great vision contest, but I guess they don't feel like they do. And Xiaohao just flashes in. Angel uses his ult. Easy ability to cancel. There's a lot of CC on Ultra Prime's side. And the team fight kind of falls flat on its face. Leave really never gets to take off.
The target selection is such a head scratcher, and we're going to get a look back here. We called out Xiaohao's initial engage here.
Yeah, this is really questionable.
I don't hate it because he dashes forward, but
if it was Vi, sure. If this was Vi going on to Hena and they had like Vi Ari or something like that, and they could close their gum on Hena, one-shot him, great. Sasa gets ulted, I think that was, or Climber. It does basically nothing. And then Leave tries to do something against Saber, but again, this late game Rise damage is so scary when you're close range that there's nothing Leave can really do. He actually has the pen finished. Oh boy. EDG
JBetto,
special.
This is your fault, JBetto. Is this the second one of these that you've gone through? Yeah.
Technically, it's the third because that series had 2 in one go. They unpaused and EDG got insta-Malphite Orianna comboed, and then they paused after they lost the game for like 15 minutes, and then nothing happened. But we can go back to the talk about Batman.
Then I could talk to you about. It was actually it was a fun theory I saw talking about, because you mentioned the fact that obviously we're in Group Nirvana. We've talked a lot about Nirvana today, the band.
Yeah.
I believe it is. I don't want to get my Nirvana song switched up here for a second, because there is one in the Batman, I believe.
Yeah, something in the way.
Something in the way. So So if you listen to Something in the Way, and then you go immediately into Come As You Are, which is another Nirvana song, they actually transition seamlessly. So there was a running theory that Something in the Way goes into Come As You Are as the Batman Part 1 goes into the Batman Part 2.
Return of the Rat, is that really a song?
Very Ape?
Yeah, yeah.
What's the logic on that name?
What is this, Fourth from the Bottom? What a banger song name. Or Fifth from the Bottom? Not saying that out loud, but we brought it up, so I will say, when I was watching that movie, I was really like hesitant because I didn't love the Ben Affleck Batman. Like, not that anything against Ben Affleck, like I think he did a fine job, but the movie just wasn't it for me. Batman's vs Superman. I was a big fan of the old one, the
Christian Bale one.
Christian Bale, yeah. But then when, if you haven't seen the movie, you're a bit late, but sorry for spoilers. When Batman comes in the train station and he like beats up all of the criminals, the goons, I was locked in. Like, I was completely in it. Yeah,
the first 15 minutes really captures you, the Batman. Yeah, my problem with Ben Affleck's Batman is for one reason only. If you're a Batman fan, the golden rule of Batman, he doesn't kill people. He only kills pauses. Because we talked about Batman, and we're back live. Don't luckily have to go through too long of a pause this time, as whatever issue has been alleviated, but the issues are continuing to stack up here for EDG as they are now facing a Baron and a Chemtech Soul-led Ultra Prime. We are in one fight away from this series going to a Game 3 territory, JBetto.
Yeah, Baron, 2 minutes on this timer, so I think Ultra Prime really need to make some moves during this time. A Chemtech Soul is great for these team fights. It's not great at pushing for an end. It's not like a big burst of damage. You can't chase them down with Cloud Soul or inverted Cloud Soul Hextech Drake. It's not really going to help you end the game a ton. So you've got 2 minutes, now a minute and a half. What can you get on the map? Like, I'm not actually sure if Ultra Prime are capable of fully ending the game. EDG have some options, like they've got decent wave clear with Malzahar, with Yunara. More so Malzahar, but still. Well, nice pick, maybe?
Pick on the Saber. Sobble Onslaught doesn't land. This main smash just gets the slow, and Saber's just going to shrug off that ult. They do force Climber to Grand Starfall towards mid lane, but all this push and pull towards mid means a little bit more space for Hena to slap some autos onto this tier 3 turret in the bot side here, but that push does not break the base, so EDG still holding strong up against this Baron power play.
Well, Ultra Prime, massive gold lead, but some of these items, the builds for EDG are slowly getting completed. Like, Leave needs one more item. Angel also needs 2, sorry. But the base is breaking. Ultra Prime are making their way in. They've also got pretty great wave clear with a Rise with a Anivia. So they're able to get the first inhibitor. The good news for EDG is that Elder and Baron are very decent. So that's all Ultra Prime got. They got their Baron. They had about a minute and a half-ish, maybe a little less. And they broke the mid inhibitor. Didn't even get the bot tower. So all in all, not that great of a Baron.
We keep focusing on these items because there are, like you mentioned, some EDG members that would like to scale a bit heavier. Leave, you mentioned, reached almost pinnacle point. He's going to get that 6th item, maybe a GA. BF Sword signals to me a GA. I'm shocked to see that a Yunara is still rocking tier 1 boots at 36 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm also shocked to see Saber fully upgrade QSS. Is that not an AD item?
It is, in fact, an AD item. I'm blanking on the fully completed name off the top of my head.
Mercurial Scepter?
Mercurial Scepter. That sounds right to me.
I think it's like Lifesteal and Magic Resist, which like
yes.
is not terrible, but I guess it's better than nothing. You know, maybe
he's full build. Why not? Right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, you could have a conversation about whether he can sell it and just rely on the pure cancel ability, because you could get into a world where you sell QSS, EDG don't check, and they ult someone else anyway. It's been getting cancelled every single time, but Ultra Prime, even without Baron, still looking to do some sieging here.
York really helping out. The spacing of the Glacial Storm makes it hard for, Leave to want to step up and get some autos down. But they do clear out another wave. Ultra Prime are really just, I don't hate it. Keeping up the tempo, keeping up the pressure, making sure EDG can't try and settle into any map control that you pointed out aptly, Jack, earlier. They've had zero control of for this entire 7-minute block we've been in.
This kind of feels a little bit like an EDG game where the game kind of feels over but Ultra Prime aren't able to actually win the game, we're going to get an Elder fight. And it's going to spawn earlier than Baron. So I think an option for EDG to try to push out some of these side lanes, because only the super minions down mid. Pretty easy for Leave and the gang to clear out those mid waves and then try to rotate to the dragon. It is, again, pretty tough to walk in blind against an Ultra Prime with this team comp, but ZDZ, like, this Sion is probably the best champion in the game, or one of the best champions in the game, for walking in blind. He's so tanky. He has TP up with the shield, so he can face take a bunch of damage, get vision down, or get info, and then TP back. He has 2,000 stacks of his passive. That's 2,000 extra health that he's gotten. Pretty scary. Also has the Ziggs convergence, which is a bit of an interesting one. I guess ZDZ is saying, my job is to try to hit ult on Saber, because that's probably the only person that he's not hitting Hena with ult. And for Leaf to do some of this carrying. It is a bit crazy that he hasn't upgraded boots, though.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter now. He's got enough attack speed from all of these other crit-based items, but it is intriguing. Saber, they're going to ult with Climber. When Climber gets knocked up, he gets thrown in the bouncy house. He luckily has a GA. His Agent Soul goes up, stuns up Leave, but he does survive. Xiaohao tries to go after Saber, throws the Crescent Guard up. Climber going to respawn, flash back out, look to re-engage. Easy with a big decimating smash. Can Leave get into this fight? No! There's too much damage coming out from this Ezreal. And EDG's last-ditch effort to try and save this game falls flat. The Chemtech soul value is going through the roof. True Shot Barrage going to clip Dway as the 3 remaining bot side members of Edward Gaming are going to watch their base crumble and watch Ultra Prime force a do-or-die Game 3 in our series.
I'm still pushing forward, getting some of these final kills, but Slayer, maybe I need to evaluate Chemtech soul a little better, because Leave is hitting there, an Angel, for so long, and the health bars just don't move. And then Hena, alongside this Rise, it's just so much damage and obliterate EDG's health bars.
What a response there from Ultra Prime. Another just kind of masterclass of a Climber game. I know we had some big fights there from Saber. I thought XiaoXia was actually pretty good on the Anivia, but I don't think any of that sort of torrential pace we saw from Ultra Prime in the mid game happens without Climber.
Yeah, I agree. And then the late game came on. Still, Climber did a really good job of buying time, doing a little bit of that CC, whether it's canceling the Malazar ult, whether it's landing onto the first target. And then Saber and Hena just do so much unbelievable damage. I'm really excited to see the damage graphs. I think that this Rise is going to have a very big number. But we were talking earlier about, you asking me, when do you think that this comp really comes alive? And I said it's a lot based on skill, on how they play individually. And I think that Ultra Prime showed that they can absolutely do that.
Without a doubt. They really... It's funny, though, because I don't think they necessarily played this comp how we thought they were. In the essence of, there were some side lane pickoffs, but for the most part, it didn't feel like they were leaning into, like, Yorick hammering a turret on one end, Rise pushing the other lane, and, like, this 1-3-1 style. They really just kind of played into the global threat of the Pantheon Rise as a pick comp, and that's what I felt like worked out best for them.
Yeah, the front to back was really good, and the interesting part about that is that normally Xin Zhao is quite good into front to back comps because he buys so much time. You're not able to actually kill him fast enough. Sion can be too, because the front to back just doesn't die. But I think EDG, when you take a front to back team fight, unless you have a really solid dive comp, which EDG didn't, you end up playing a front to back too. Who dies first? And it was EDG, even with the Xin Zhao, even with the Sion. Ultra Prime's frontline, which was a Yorick and a Pantheon, actually out-sustained the frontline of EDG.
Chemtech Soul goes crazy. I think Collaborative plays really well around that GA as well. And, hey, gotta give some respect over to how tanky that Yorick was on top of all that as well. Very impressive. I think we've now had 2 games because, this game did get a little bit murky in the mid-game, but it was still really Ultra Prime as we look back at the stats. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of an uptick, but for the most part, Climber gets a big lead early and uses that to get his team ahead. And there's the damage charts you want to see, JBetto. And I'm not shocked to see Ezreal at the top with how much he had lethal tempo stacked up in those extended fights.
I will say, I was. The Yorick damage is a little bit fake. He's landing against a Scion, a little bit fake, but I was really shocked. I am really shocked to see how much Hena was putting into these fights. I think that a lot of this damage is teamfight damage because the lane didn't look great for him. So I thought with the late game damage, Saber was carrying some fights, but I think the combination of these two, mostly on the back of Hena, just wasn't enough survivability, which is, again, crazy to say about this EDG team comp, but they just couldn't live. And the Malzahar, I don't know, I didn't really feel it this game.
I'm with you there, but it's because these nether grasps were constantly interrupted.
Yeah.
We saw, the nice ingenuity of Sasa. I think it was decent luck that he got the bump of the Stark Procession. I'm sure we'll see the play come across here in these highlights. He knocks another grasp out of a combo, but the other ones were self-inflicted, right? We saw the Dragon where Climber gets out of another grasp because Wild Growth is used on Xiaohao, which knocks him out of it. And then every other one of those ones you called out were interrupted. This was a game where we talked about EDG's kind of struggles as a cohesive unit team fighting. Oh, you're right. It was Leave. Wow, that's tragic.
Yeah, I'm hoping, again, we didn't really get to see. I'm hoping that he was trying to bomb plant them back into his team and just didn't quite get the timing, rather than it was an accident and he meant to auto somebody. Either way, I think for EDG, their comp really, we were talking about it in draft, it lived and died by how Leave played, how much damage he can do. And he honestly just couldn't get through the front line, whether or not that's... No. Like, I don't think that Leave can realistically play it any better. Like, he's doing damage, he's hitting, but losing the Chemtech Soul actually mattered a ton. And not being able to take out any of these carries who, if Ryze gets next to you, you die. If the Ezreal can keep range, you die. The Pantheon stuns you. I think the, Ultra Prime played a... This is just Leave making mistakes.
Yeah. This was a very mistake-riddled mid-game here from EDG.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Leave mistakes there. Angel wasn't on point with these Malzahar Nether Grasps. And then the rest of these fights, a really big problem, were just completely desynced. Like, there is never a world where my Yunara should be stepping ahead of my Xin Zhao with Crescent Guard, even if you do have to walk into a Baron Pit.
Well, I mean, we've got to remind the viewers here, Slayer, this is an important series. Ending bottom 2 in Group Nirvana after the end of this split. You're done for the year, and this is not a long split for Group Nirvana. It is a single round robin. Both these teams have already played 2 matches. This is their 3rd. I believe they only play 5, so it's 2 more after this one to make sure you're not bottom 2. And both of these teams have the potential to be bottom 2. So this last match is really important for standings.
Very important, especially for 2 teams that I'm sure have aspirations to try and play in to Group Ascend, play into those potential playoffs that we will get to even further down the line. We have a Game 3 much shorter down that said line coming out soon between EDG and Ultra Prime. But before we get there, Jack, give me an official player of the game vote from you, because I know you were a couple places.
I feel like this one's really tough. I normally am really happy to say it, but like I don't know. Climber had a great game, but then late game he's just pressing W on Pantheon. Maybe it's Hena. Okay.
And it's Saber.
I mean, I think he did a lot of damage, so maybe like if we could see damage in the course of the game, maybe those late game teamfights were really Saber focused. But I think in this game, genuinely, it could be any of Saber, Hena, or Climber. I think they played really well, were instrumental in their team to in winning this game. Maybe it's not Hena just because of how the late... Wow, everybody 8 out of 8!
Wow, okay, I mean...
I don't know about that.
He was up 5k gold at the end of the day, but yeah, I've seen... I've seen non-unanimous votes go to some pretty one-sided player of the games, in my opinion. That's wild. All right, so there's
Fair
something
play.
we're not tapped into, JBetto. Saber with one of his very few unanimous MVP player of the game rewards, and he has gotten Ultra Prime into a very pivotal Game 3, like you heard JBetto talking about. Only 5 series for every single one of these Group Nirvana teams, so you got to make every series count, and especially make Game 3s count. EDG, Ultra Prime, 1-1. The stalemate will be broken with a Game 3.